So we're downloading Power BI because we are moving on to that now. We have the link for download on our data team, WhatsApp data team, or data platform, SoftNet data team, yeah. So we can click on it from there. I have the link here, which, I copied and pasted here, and it brings us to this lovely Microsoft page here. And we can see what we need is Power BI desktop. It takes you straight to it. And you click on the download. I don't want to do that because I have it already. So click on the download and you just follow through. It's quite self-explanatory. It's not a hard process at all. I believe you just need your normal email to use this one. Okay. So, and if you follow my cursor, if we go down this way, you can see this is the icon for it. Power BI desktop, this yellow icon is the one for it. Okay. So I'm gonna click on it from here for me, and we'll just sort of familiarize ourselves, with it a little bit for today. Especially as we don't have many people in class as well. So we'll just familiarize ourselves with it. So where it says home open, if I, like every Microsoft product, if I click on open, it would bring a list of my Power BI files, the ones that I already had, but I want a blank report. So I click on the blank report, and we can see how it says untitled. First and foremost, are we all able to download or get that link, or anyone having trouble getting it from that link? I need response. Do I have people who are not able to get the link, or who can't download just yet because they are not on the system or something? Let me know what's happening.
Mine is downloading at the moment. I think I'm on 7%.
Okay, perfect. Well, thank you. Thank you. Sal, how are you getting on?
I had it already, so yeah. Okay. I've got it.
You got it?
Yeah.
So is it completely downloaded yet?
Yeah, it's completely downloaded. I downloaded it already.
Oh, perfect. Do you have the page I have?
Yeah, I've got the page you've got.
That's good. Okay. Mr. Fidelis, you want us to wait for you to complete download, or?
I think we can keep going on. So when I'm done, I'll just try to follow up to wherever we are.
Okay. No problem at all. So we have this wonderful landing page, if we can call it that, and like every Microsoft product, you have the file, which is the usual home, open, save, what you would normally get from the file part of their products. Then we have the get data, and for those of us who were in class when we looked at Power Query in Excel, we should be reminded of what get data is. As I hover on here, you can see it says connect to data from multiple sources. So this is, we can, use these to get data from various sources, and we'll see more of that. It says import contents from an existing file, export contents to a new file. Then you have your sign out, options and settings, and about. If we go into about, it just gives you extra information about the Microsoft Power BI desktop that you have. You can see the version of it. It's the latest February 2025 updates, the user ID, the session ID. So most of the time, if you are having trouble in the Power BI itself, and you're sort of asking a tool like ChatGPT about what should you do concerning this, your Power BI desktop, they could be asking you for this sort of information, like what version is it, and it could use that to give you further help, you know. But we'll go back into file and we look at options and settings. You know, we have options. Let's have a look into what options is about. In the options segment, we have the global and the current file. Global is the settings you want to apply to every of your Power BI files. So whatever you sort out in here, it will be applicable to other Power BI reports that you create within your desktop. Whereas current file, like the name implies, the changes you want to make just applies to the current Power BI that you're working in, this particular one. That's the difference. And we see all sort of functions there. You see your data load and a few things here. You see type detection. Maybe you want the option of always detect column types and headers for unstructured data, or detect column types and headers for unstructured sources according to each file setting. You see, that's what I've got mine on. I think it's there by default as well. Some things have been clicked by default. Under background data, we have always allow data previews to download in the background. And we have allowed data previews to download in the background according to each file setting, you know. And a few other things. We have the time intelligence, which is ticked, auto date and time for new files. We have the data cache management, if you want to clear cache. Q&A cache options. So these are all worth looking into. You know how we always say that just play around, you know, have a look around. The Power Query, the settings for the Power Query, you know, display the formula bar, if you want it displayed or not. If I don't want the formula bar displayed, I'll untick it, but I need it to be displayed. Data import, enable web table inference, and you have further read on what that means. Data preview, parameters, you know, so you can always come into here and, you know, change your settings according to what you want. Okay. Under the preview features, says the following features are available for you to try in this current release. So Power BI is always Microsoft rather is always constantly updating and upgrading their products. Okay. So in the current release that we are working in, these are the different features. So the ones you want, the ones you can check them, the ones you don't want, you can uncheck them. And we'll get used to this as the more we start to familiarize ourselves with the use of Power BI, the more we'll will, understand more of this. So I won't spend too much time on it. I'll cancel that. And then that was file. And then we have home. And under home, we have, these are grayed out at the moment. The first not grayed, and under that section is called clipboard. Under your clipboard, you have format painter, you have copy. If you want to just like your copy and paste is what you have here. Cut and paste, the usual copy cut that you would do. That's what you have there. Then we have the segment where it's data, the data segment. Under this data segment, that's where you have your get data, Now, Excel workbook you see here is just an alternative. So within the get data, you already have Excel workbook. So if you are trying to get Excel workbook into this file, you could use this, or you could just go straight and use this. Okay. We have SQL Server. There's one Lake catalog. But let's dwell a little on get data. You see, just like we saw in Power Query, Excel gets data that took us in Power Query. There's a lot of sources that you can get your data from into Power BI. If you are trying to get an Excel workbook in, you just click on your Excel, and it brings you to your folders area, your file explorer, and you can search whatever it is that folder is called. You can search, and you can see here that it's already filtered everything here down to just Excel files. So it's only going to allow you to get Excel files. That's what this implies. Okay, because that's the instruction you gave it. And you can get data from other Power BI models into here, from data flows. These are all different data sources. And data source is, like the name implies, the source of your data. The data that you want to bring in, the source of it. You could be getting it through Dataverse, SQL Server, analysis services, text. It could be just a text file, within your file explorer as well, just within your own computer. And you see it's already filtered that to only CSV text file as well. You could get it from web, okay? And getting it from web, when you click on it, it just asks you for the URL. What's the URL? Let me quickly for a second, okay, actually, there's no need to, let me quickly look for, yeah. Let's quickly Google maybe world population, and see if we can get data in from world population by country. Okay. Yeah, we've used this before. So if I go into this world population by country, consent, okay, and say I'm creating a report that needs this information, so I'm just going to copy this URL, Control C, and copy that URL and come into my Power BI. You know that how we did this, we went to get data, and because we are getting data from the web, we click on the web, it brings the box that's asking us for URL. Okay, so I've copied the URL. I'm just gonna paste it in there. Let's okay that and see. Okay, so it brings this, is asking me access web content. Do I want to access this as anonymous, or do I want to use my Windows credential, or basic just with my basic username, password, credential, web API, or am I using my organizational account? Okay, and I believe this is all part of data data security. Okay, so that people don't access, or if this was an organization, we are not bringing, you can't use anonymous to bring in data onto your organization account. Okay, it has to show that this information got into the report through you. Okay, so that's what this is. It's just about what's the word I'm looking for? Transparency, for them to see who is using what, who is consuming what, who is bringing what into the organization. Apart from that, it also ensures that you are using data that you should be having access to. So again, part of data security, I should only be given access to as much as I need, no more, no less. Okay, so if I try to maybe sign in, I signed in and it's not letting me in, chances are that I've not been officially given access to that sort of data. So if I should be having access to it, I can ask. And if all due diligence has been followed, yes, I get it. If not, then I don't get it, which means I shouldn't be accessing it in the first place. Okay. Normally, I wasn't really expecting this to happen because I'm signed in into my desktop and anyway. So I can't remember my password if he's going to ask me for that. It's not organizational. Let me just use anonymous just for the purpose of this. And can you see in the drop down, what I need is world population by country. That's what we went to fetch. Okay, so let me connect. Okay, just waiting for it to. Please wait while we establish a connection to the website. So, and here we go. It's just loading there. You can imagine that there's quite a few information on that page, so it may take a bit of time. But yeah, that's how to get data from the web. Okay. And we have a few things here. I'm just gonna click on each to see if exactly what I need. Okay, so table 1, I see country, I see population, 2025 yearly change, and the rest. Okay, let's see what table 2 is. Now, table 2 looks no, that's not what I want, so it won't be that. Let's see what table 3 is. Exponential interactive, exactly not what I need either. Okay, and table 4 is just for that information, not relevant to what I need. So it's very obvious that table 1 is my best. It's my best bet. So the one I need to, you can see how we previewed the data within this window first, this navigator. Okay, you can always preview what is there within the data sets to see, or the tables, to see what it's about. And if I need to transform, meaning if I need to clean and do a few transformation on the work, on the data set, the tables that I've clicked on here to bring in, then I will transform the data. But if I need to load straight on, because I don't feel like there's any need to change anything here, it all looks clean enough. There's no issue, data quality is on top notch. Then I'll just click on load and I'll load right on. Okay, I'm going to cancel that because I really didn't need that information. I just wanted to see how that bringing data in from the web, how it works. We used all data feed in our last class, when we were bringing in the Northwind data, okay? And I believe you can see it's similar to, it's because it's data on the web as well, I just don't know why they call that an old data feed. But it's also asking for URL, and you just copy and paste and load that in as well. And then we have the blank query, okay? And you see blank query just brought us straight into the Power Query, and as the name implies, there's a query and it's blank, so you can do whatever you want with it. Say, for example, I want to create a date table, with this blank query. I will just go into the advanced editor of it, because it is blank at the moment, nothing in it. I'm just gonna copy and paste what it is, the code, that I want to use to create that query or the table. Just copy and paste into it, done. I'll click done, and the table would be done. We'll use that. We are going to need to use it at some point. So let's go back into Power BI. We're still within the data sector or segment of it. Then we have dealt with all of this, the get data part of things, data sources. Then we have the enter data. Enter data allows you to create a table manually, where you can just click on, say this is your column 1, give the name of the column, maybe products. You can just manually type products. Another column would be product ID. Okay. And then you can type what the name of the product is. I'm just double clicking into each cell, name of the product, Milo, product ID 1 or 001. Okay. And then you click on the next one to put the next one in, and whatever that one is. So let's say this is rice, and I'm saying that is 002. So down here, the name of the table, I can give it a name. I can say food table, and I'll load it, and that's how you manually, create or enter data. Just create a table manually. It's not all the time that you look for a source. You can actually have a source within your own. You can, create the table yourself as well. Sometimes that may be necessary to do. Okay, and it's again, it brought us back into the Power Query, but I won't let it force us into Power Query just yet. We'll have enough time to play around with Power Query. Remember that data verse was one of the data sources that we. So basically everything here is, except for the enter data, of course, they are all within the get data function or button, and all of them are under the data segment. Then just in case you want to go into a recent, maybe you want to go back into a recent source that you got data from, you know that this is the most recent that we got data from, the world population table. We got it from here. So this is just a list of the most recent data sources I've used. Okay, so rather than me fluffing around, I can quickly just come around and get it from there. Okay, and that explains the data part of home. Then we have the queries. Under queries we have transform data, and transform data, you can get into Power Query using transform data. So maybe you have brought everything from, okay, actually let's practice. Let's do this. So I'm going to close and apply. I'm going to close this Power Queries. Let's say I've done everything. And within Power Query, let's assume now that data is clean, everything I'm bringing in is fine, and the only those two tables, one is food, the other is just a query one. Okay, so those tables were not showing on this data right-hand side of the data. They were not there before, but now I've brought them in. Now let's assume that for some reason, I need to go back into Power Query to correct something within these tables. Now, one of the ways to get back in is this transform data. So I'll just click on transform data and it takes me back into Power Query. Then I can, make the corrections that I need to make, on here. When I'm done, again, I'll close and apply. And it brings us back into here. Then we have the refresh. If you need to refresh anything, all of everything within your report, you could refresh from it. Say refresh all tables to access the latest data. So this is where you manually refresh. Then we go to, that takes us into insert. Under insert, you have, maybe you want to add new visual to your report. Okay, you can do that. Can you see that automatically just added column charts for me? Okay, now the same column chart you can get from under this side where you have all the chart visualization. And can you see that this column chart is now highlighted here? This is a bit lighted up for ourselves. Stacked column chart, this one. Can you see it's looking like it's been selected because I have this, open here. If I remove this, watch what would happen if I remove this. Say I remove it. You see, that's got is not highlighted anymore. Okay. Then you can have a text box that you want to insert. Let's say I want to type something in my report, maybe the name of my workplace or something like you normally would type. You can change the font, you can change the font type, you can change the color, you can bold in it, just what you would normally do with your text. Okay, so that's the text box. Under insert also is where we have more visuals. Okay, so you can get more if you want more visuals than what you have here, you can get it either from what you have in your own files on your computer or from the app source. So if I click on the app source, it brings me to Power BI visuals where we can get visuals that are not in your visuals, the ones that are there by default. Let's say I want this word art or play axis. I think there's play axis. Yeah, probably this. You can see the ratings for each one of them. Okay, you just click on it, it's loading it, and you can add it from there, and that's you done. but I don't want to add it, so I'm gonna close it. But that is there. So you have all these by default, but you can add more, is what that is telling you, and that's all under insert. Then you have calculations. Okay, we'll talk more about new measures, quick measures when we get into the actual work. And then we have sensitivity. Sensitivity. I've forgotten what sensitivity is about. I know I've read it a few times, but I've forgotten, and it's, let me see. It's not bringing, okay. But collapse or expand the filter panel with editing. This also determines how, no, it's showing on something else, not on the sensitivity. Okay, I'm sure I'll remember at some point. If not, we'll talk more about sensitivity. I know there's something on sensitivity level that's just left my brain now. But then after the report has been created and all done and looking nice, you have to share it. And that's where we get to the share side of things, share, publish. So you publish the work into um okay, my work is not, well, because there's no work. So normally you would have saved this with a particular name and then publish into workspace. We call it workspace. Okay, so where the people on your team that need to see the report, where you give them access to actually see the report, and then within there you can set your report to reschedule, not to reschedule, to refresh itself automatically without you needing to manually refresh it, so it can automatically get updates. However, with whatever frequency, maybe daily, maybe once weekly, depends, And we have the co-pilot, which is an AI. We've got a few AIs within Power BI, but yeah, co-pilot is the AI AI side of things to all Microsoft products, really. I'm sure I've seen it. I've used it in Word, in Outlook. You have it in Excel, and it's just like you would normally use your AI. It says uncover insights in your data with the help of AI. We also have something called Q&A, where you can ask, after you have built the report, you can ask it questions about your report, and it will generate answers for you. Okay. And all of that is just under home. Okay. Under insert, we have a few buttons. Some of them are repeated. Text box I see here again. You can insert buttons, different types of buttons. You can insert shape, all part of you designing your work in a nice way. You can insert image from your system if there's a particular background, maybe your work logo that you've saved. You can insert it, from, these are all AI products. Key influencers, the composition tree, we'll see how to use it. Narrative, AI visuals, it's there, it's within AI visuals. These are your normal visuals, okay? Under modeling, we again calculations, which we saw. I think most of the things in other within the other buttons are already seen in home. We should get to see how you can put some again security into your work. It's early days to talk about row level security and stuff like that, but yeah, you can create a whole report and just give each team or each department, you can restrict each department to only see the data that concerns their own department, not to see for everybody. That's what this side of things is about. Yeah, these are all about calculations. View, what do we have? If you want to use these default themes to create your report, if you don't want to have one that you designed yourself, you know, that's it. Those are the major. It's early days to talk about performance analyzers, sync slicers, early days to talk about those. One important thing though that I should mention that we are going to be needing using a lot of is these three. Now it's become four. Now it used to be just this top three without the dark square view. Okay. We used to call them the three wise men, these three ones here. So we have the report view, which is where we are now. This is where you will create your report, where your different charts would stay. The different what's it called, slicers, the different visuals that you want to put in your report. You see this Canva here as a report page. That's where we are currently have. Then you have the second one, which it calls the table view, where you can view your tables in table format, the data that you brought in, you can view and see and look through. You can filter, you can do a few things. You see, you can use some formula to add more columns in if you need to. You can sort, you can group by and all of that. Then we have the third one, which is the model. Again, we saw how a data model works when we were in Excel, uh, Power Pivot in Excel, and it works exactly the same way here as well. We don't currently have a data set that supports how you could build that, but by tomorrow we should be able to graduate into that. Okay, so there's quite a lot of things, that would make more sense as we use them, but it's good to get a little familiar with all of the, or most, not all, most of the things here, you see. That's the essence, and when you want to add data to maybe a table or any visual at all you need to do, you can see under visualization where you are building the visuals. Below it, you have your y-axis, your x-axis. If you just click on the different columns or that you want to bring in to analyze. And this is all we have to show for now. Okay, you can easily just click and you can see each one of them has occupied whereby well, Power BI senses that this is how you want it to be arranged. Okay, but you can always modify whatever you need to modify. Then we have under here the the one that looks like paintbrush, where you can change. Maybe I don't want these values to look like this. You can change the color. You can change the font. You can change the size of the font. You see, we can see that more properly. I can decide to remove the y-axis title. Under y-axis, I can switch off the title so that looks like that. I can decide to change the colors of the bars. Okay, I don't want that color. Okay, this is the color I want. So if you formatting or designing functions happen within this paintbrush, you know, and you see different things here, different information or functions here for different visuals, you know. So it depends on the visual that you are working with, you know. I think I've managed to a good extent to to show as much as possible the interface, you know, of Power BI. Then I'm hoping that by tomorrow we can get data in and start taking our baby steps in using this. I hope I haven't bored you too much, but it's necessary to do this bit out of the way, you know, and then we'll see where we go from there. Any questions?